Zimbabwe's Emmerson Mnangagwa has made two major appointments within 24 hours, further reshaping the political landscape in the southern African nation. First, Mnangagwa appointed his cousin, Martin Rushwaya, to head the office of the President and Cabinet OPC Chief Secretary. However, the most significant move came shortly after as Mnangagwa appointed his alleged girlfriend to the position of Attorney General. Also, he chose his close allies, some of whom were arrested for various crimes during the Mugabe era. This surprising decision has sent shockwaves through the political landscape of Zimbabwe, raising questions about nepotism and political favoritism within the government. Now, joining me on the news to discuss this live is political analyst Makumbarero. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for hosting me here today.
All right, now, in a rapid series of changes in Zimbabwe, President Mnangagwa has made two major appointments within 24 hours. First, his cousin, and of course, as a chief secretary, and now his alleged girlfriend as the Attorney General. How do you make of all of these recent moves? And also a reflection of his leadership style and priorities for Zimbabwe's political landscape.
To be honest, Emmerson Mnangagwa is delivering on his electoral promises. Remember, he didn't have a manifesto. Remember, after FN claimed victory, he didn't have a 100-days plan. But his manifesto was for ED, teachers for ED, miners for ED, resources for ED, jobs for ED. And by for ED, he was implying to his family, his concubines, his friends. And that's why you have seen even in his cabinet, he appointed his son and, and then children and other friends, from his tribe. So he's delivering for ED, for his family, for personal benefit. So, of course, it's painful and it comes as a shock to millions of Zimbabweans who never accepted or moved on from the electoral haste that happened last month. But it also is a rude awakening for those who were blindly following and supporting the for ED movements, the rigging for ED, in how he got into power. They are now seeing that it's for him, ED, and his personal friends and his closed circle of associates. It's not for Zimbabweans. It's not for everyone. This also brings critically into question his incapacity to reform and his incapacity to deliver. Yes, he might have tried to hijack legitimacy through the sham elections. Legitimacy through, of course, the courts. We saw how they were playing, and it was a good thing that various political players did not further went on to sue his legitimacy, his illegitimate legitimacy through the courts, because they're also captured. And however, we all know that he might have acquired this illegitimacy, but he can never, ever, with his style of leadership, he can never acquire, the operational legitimacy. He can never acquire performance legitimacy. Because what is key now, after looting elections, after making these 2 PS appointments, it's performance legitimacy. This means that we are guaranteed that jobs will never be created. We are guaranteed that industries will never be revived. We are guaranteed that load shedding will never be dealt with. We are guaranteed that pensioners will continue suffering. We are guaranteed that the healthcare system will never be revived. And this is the, performance legitimacy which Emmerson Mnangagwa cannot use the courts.
But wouldn't you also want to say it's pretty early to sort of conclude that it might not deliver on the dividends of democracy, and also the fact that let's also look at the competence. Aside, okay, these people are pretty much related or they're familiar to the president. Aren't you saying that, are you saying that some of these appointments, particularly to people that he already knows, also questions the competence of those people to perform on the job based on probably their CVs or their academic criteria, their experience and all of that? And also as a follow-up to that, in the light of Mnangagwa's appointment of close allies, with past legal troubles during the Mugabe era, what message does this send to the public about accountability and also governance in the country, and how it might affect public trust and also confidence, particularly in this administration, both domestically and internationally?
It's very clear from history, because with ZANU-PF, it's not like it is a new party. Mnangagwa is not like a new government, leader. He has been there for the past 42 years, and they've made these appointments for the past 42 years. So with regards to this long-term ruling party, we use presidents. And presidents has shown that they've appointed professors, they've appointed people with flashy CVs, educated in top universities across the world, but they failed to deliver. An immediate example that comes to mind, is Professor Mthuli. He ran down the economy, despite him being a multi, colorful professor with a multi-colorful CV. We also have Olympian Kestikov. She was one of the worst performing ministers, of course, in an overall worst performing government ever in the history of Zimbabwe, post independence. And the issue now of CVs, they come into a situation whereby there's a political system which doesn't allow progressive politics, which doesn't allow progressive administration. This is a captured system where you have to operate based on the whims. Because their terms of reference is per se, like I mentioned earlier, Emmerson Mnangagwa is good that he doesn't beat around the bush. He's straight. His manifesto, his agenda is for ED. It's for Emmerson Mnangagwa. So everyone who's coming in is coming to deliver for ED. And you'll be shocked. Like in the previous term, they were saying the previous finance minister has done a lot. He has, revived the economy. Everything is good. His policies were working. But they were not working for the millions of Zimbabweans. But they were working for Emmerson Mnangagwa. He delivered the gold mafia. He managed to also buy government, officials, very big and expensive cars. Judges got 400,000, 500,000, payouts. We also saw the same with ministers and parliamentarians. So for government, he delivers, but it's for ED, as I said. Whereas the millions of Zimbabweans want to be delivered for everyone. That's the shortcoming of it. And moving further, it's clear that we Zimbabweans, we need something better. Something has to give in. And in terms of delivering, it's not too early, as I mentioned earlier. He has no plan. You could have delivered this plan earlier on. You could have, set even benchmarks moving forward. But wherever we are now, we are not even sure what will be done to the economy. We are not even sure what will be, happen to the banking system. We are not even sure what will happen in terms of international, re-engagement. There's no clear even international or foreign policy. So in terms of boosting confidence and, public perception, it's impossible. He has failed at each and every turn that has been given, that has been granted opportunities to do things right. He has done them exactly wrong. So, in this case of Emmerson Mnangagwa, it's a clear case, of where a book should be judged by its cover. Because its cover, its record, its precedents, and they have clearly working on delivering for ED.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.